ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Stop, Look, and Listen. I'm your host, LaTroy Gardner. This week, we have model, entrepreneur, the creator of Malaville dolls. We have Bryan. Welcome to the show, Mala.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, pleasure to have you. So, you're from the lovely island of St. Lucia. Just talk about your childhood and then tell us what Mala stands for.
Well, correct. I am from the beautiful Caribbean island of St. Lucia, born and raised. I was raised in the countryside of St. Lucia, but also in the town side. So I like to say I had the best of both worlds because in the town I was very isolated because my grandfather never wanted me to go out to play, which is how I actually started playing with my dolls a lot more. And in the countryside, I was a lot freer to climb trees and do everything I wanted to do. So that just pretty much sums up my time in St. Lucia. And after high school, I moved to another island in the Caribbean, St. Martin, where my mom lives. And that's so I grew up with my dad and my mom's parents, and my mom had moved over to St. Martin when I was much younger to, have a make life better for us back in St. Lucia, I would say. And then afterwards, I moved with to meet her in St. Martin, and right away I started working. Like literally 2 weeks after my high school graduation, I had a part-time job at an airport duty-free shop, and right there I was discovered. I'd say recruited to work at a hotel front desk because the manager liked me. Whatever I was doing at the shop, I was doing something good apparently, and then from there, I was 2 years into the hotel and got discovered as a model on my day off. one fine day. So that pretty much sums up, because for me to give you like the whole, it's quite an interesting story. I'm not sure how much time we have, but I always go back and forth with it whenever I have to speak of my journey with the dolls as well. So I'm sure we're gonna tap back into something.
Okay. Well, did you always have aspirations to get into modeling?
No, I didn't. I knew nothing about the industry. I studied high school. I wanted to be an architect, but I didn't
hmm
know what I really wanted to do in life. And at 17 years old, I actually told my parents, I'm not sure what I want to do. And it's not like I really wanted to take a gap year, but I just happened to have had a summer job that never ended. Everything just went from one to another. It just never stopped. So
Huh.
modeling was nowhere near my, especially coming from where I'm from. It's like a dot on the globe. So we were not really exposed to anything like that. So the discovery, even when I got discovered, it was quite interesting. There was something happening at some shop. Can I speak about the discovery quickly?
Keep going. That
Okay.
was the next question actually. So go ahead.
It was my day off. I went to a dentist. He was closed. So like, oh, my friend told me about this store that just opened. Let me go have a look. And it was the weirdest thing that happened because there was this gentleman outside smoking a cigar. And I'm like, I know this man. So he's like, you come here. And I'm like, oh, hi. And I spoke to him like I knew him. So he looked at me like a little crazy. He's like, hi, how are you? I'm like, I know you. He's like, no, you don't know me from anywhere, but come meet my wife. And there was a long
hmm
line of, girls waiting. And that was the French side of St. Martin, because St. Martin is like half French, half Dutch. So it was on the French side of St. Martin. So when I got into the store, he brought me to his wife and he just said, Josie, we found our girl. So she left what she was doing. She came and she just started measuring me. And I just remember when she measured my legs, she looked up and she's like, how would you like to go to Paris? Of course, but more in a French accent. How would you like to go to Paris? And I was like, Okay.
Sure.
And I looked at the girl at one of the shop assistants and I'm like, what's going on here? And she's like, it might be the luckiest day of your life. And I'm like, okay. And then, of course, when they were done measuring and doing everything, it was basically casting was over. Whatever that, I found out the word casting a long time afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, wait, hold on. I actually have a job and I have a boss that I'm going to have to tell that I said okay to something. And so I went and I spoke to my boss, and it was probably one of the most interesting conversations that I've ever had. And it was the first time where someone actually sat me down and spoke to me about racism. Like I never had the talk before, and she literally said, "It's you are, just so you know, it's not going to be how it is on the island. You are going to experience some things that you've never experienced before. So just brace yourself." She didn't say anything about how I would be treated or anything like that, but that was the talk. And she's like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
of course you can go. She wasn't very happy about it because it was high season at the time. But she said she didn't want to stop me. So thank you, Peggy, for that opportunity, for allowing me to go, because not every boss would have allowed it at the time. And I did the competition. I went to Paris. I did the competition, and backstage I remember they coming to ask me if I won the competition, would I stay in Paris? And I was like, no, I'm just here for the free trip, hotel, and the food. I'm going back to my
Right.
life after this. I had zero intentions, but me being me, who I am, I saw the girls practicing, and it was the first time I saw people sitting at a table and not eating food. And I was like, just eating like crazy. I knew nothing about I didn't know what they were doing. But they were watching their weight and their figures, and I was just like, I'm just here to have a good time. Really and truly, I was. And then I saw how serious everyone was taking this. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I could do this thing too. And I just remember what I saw at beauty pageants and was just mimicking what I thought modeling was.
Mm-hmm.
It was not good, but it was good enough to win a contract.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did you have any mentors, like especially with most models starting off as teenagers?
Well, I was late. I was 20 actually when that
Mm-hmm.
happened. And so that's very late to start in the industry. And when I got, I started. I didn't go to Paris like they wanted. I actually started in Miami, where they also have had a branch. And when I got to the model's apartment with seven other models staying, this lovely older model took care of me. Her name was Bethany. I was actually just talking to her right before this interview. It's always great to speak to Bethany. And so it was like the agency like, okay, you have a test shoot. I'm like, what's a test shoot? What are contact sheets? It was nothing. And she just took me under her wing, and it was literally the best things that any model could ever know. And that was from understanding the industry, knowing your role, knowing your power. Because models, we actually have a lot of power, but we don't realize it because everyone else makes us think that agencies are in charge. And it's not really like that, because if we're not working and if we don't make money, they're not making money. So I learned that from like day one. And on my
Mm-hmm.
21st birthday, I started my modeling career. Let's put it that way. So Bethany
Okay.
would have been would I would say would have been was my mentor, and still is in many ways.
All right. So, take us behind the scenes of what it's like to be a model. Like, we can go in the direction of working conditions, signing to an agency, competition with other models, the dieting and body shaming. Like, there's so many different ways that you could approach this question.
Wow, yes, there. Okay, so I'll try my best. When I started within the industry, it was still, it was still, it was ending of the film career and starting of the digital age. So yes, I am
Hmm.
that. I am from that era, the era of discovery and where models would. So I never had the experience of walking into the agency with a portfolio and asking to get signed. I always got signed. I was lucky enough to get signed just by, hey, sending an email, having someone say, hey, can you represent her in Spain? Can you represent her here? And it worked out that way for me. What I did see, to competitions with other models. One of the things as a black model, it was very difficult. It was difficult in many ways. Where when I started my career, the first 3 months they were very tough, and I stopped for a good 8 months. I quit the industry and I actually went back to the hotel because the hair situation, they didn't know what to do with my hair. So I had a beautiful afro, and then I went to New York after a month of having this gorgeous afro, and then it got cut into this short cut, and they didn't know what to do with me because I was not really a high fashion model, but I was more of a commercial model, which is what I wanted to be when I found out, that's where where the money's made. But my height, I'm 6'1", so I have the height of a high fashion model, the size and everything, but I just felt more of a commercial model. I fell into that category a bit more. So it was very tough to place me. And the reason why I wanted to be more of a commercial model, it's because the career, you last longer. You just go, the older you get, the more jobs you actually get, to be honest with you. So it never ends, like people say, at 21, or the high fashion one probably does, where they probably would have to start, and the money's not really there. It's really more into the commercial modeling. So I try to focus more on being in that industry. I got lucky when I started because there were very few black models in Miami at the time. So whatever roles that where they needed a black model, I was the one. I was the one. So I was getting my bookings then. And that actually created problems in the models department because a lot of models would be like, okay, she's the one, she's why should they call the agency and ask why is she the only one working? Like making it seem like they're doing more for me, but it's just, and I had to explain like, no, there are 6 other blondes in here. So sorry, you guys you have to compete with each other, amongst yourself. I don't really have anyone that I have to compete with. And so that caused a lot of problems. That was pretty much it, living in the models department. So I learned to just, do my thing, and then to be able to live by myself. What else? What else? Sorry. What else was in that package? I forgot.
Yeah, it was like the demands on like dieting and body shaming, and then we could also say we can talk about if you
Not
choose.
that, but I would say for dieting and the size would more be high fashion clothes. More
Uh-huh.
high fashion models. So that's like, so again, I preferred that because I had the breast size and I had the body shape to do more commercial. Because look, you cannot really be, let's say for example, a swimwear or lingerie model if you don't have, a body, basically.
Right.
And so yeah, girls needed the body for that, and also different markets. So it depends where your market is. So South Africa, Cape Town had a beautiful market for that. Spain at one point had a market for that. Miami is perfect for that. So places like New York, Milan, London, a little bit, Paris, that is where you find the models that would have the eating disorders. I've seen them, but it's not. I would say yes. There is no one's okay. You walk into an agency and they're like, "Oh my god, girl, you got fat." That happens. That definitely happens.
Hmm.
But sometimes it's just that you know what's required, so you just try your best to reach that requirement basically. So I see modeling sometimes, look, it's like as a sport, you have to work out. If you're an athlete, you have to work out, you got to stay in shape, you got to do what needs to be done for the job. And that's just really how I saw modeling, because to be different every in the modeling industry, if you have to look at the modeling industry, everyone has a place. And it's just that sometimes you would find someone wanting to fit into where they didn't belong. Like me, when I went to New York, I couldn't do it. I could not be the one not eating. I tried. I honestly, I tried. I tried once. I went to a casting. It was Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, and I saw who they were choosing, and it was the girls with the flat-chested girls, and they were like skeletons walking. And I tried, I didn't starve myself, but all I need to do for me to lose weight was just to eat right, so I was just like having the salads, like 2 salads a day maximum, and just watching what I eat. I don't like working out, so I wasn't really working out, I'm not gonna lie. And I was just losing the weight and losing the weight, and then I realized, like, they're never going to choose me because I don't have the body. Like, my breast wasn't going anywhere, and my hip bone, you can't shave it off. So I went to my agency, and I'm like, I just said, they looked, I walked into the agency, the owner of the agency was there. He saw practically tears in my eyes, and I didn't have to say anything. He was just like, we're sending you back to Miami. And that was it. They sent me back to the market where I belong. And it was so me, it was just finding where I worked well enough, and then just staying there, not wanting to be in New York, not wanting to go to Paris, not wanting to do the Milan. I did it when I felt I was in shape for it, but really and truly, the body shaming and stuff like that, I would say a lot of it would come from agents. Um, Actually, I was having a discussion with someone just 2 days ago. It says that a lot of the girls, when they join the agency or they join the industry, they're very young. So their bodies haven't really
Hmm.
developed yet. So when it gets
Right.
to the point of them now becoming women, they're shape, and then so now it's the battle of trying to be skinny, trying to maintain a skinny body or whatever. And that's where the battle is. That's what I've noticed. That's what I saw, because I used to work with girls that were like 14, 15, 16 years old, so. And when we being in the industry for like with them for like 5, 6 years later, they're the ones that are struggling. When I got discovered at 21, I was done, so I was naturally a skinny woman. That's what I knew. So that was one of the things. So yeah, so it's just now a lot more the body shaming and stuff is coming up, but that is just from my personal modeling experience. And my thing is, look, there's a market for everyone. I would not want to be your circle trying to fit into a square hole anywhere. you know
Right. So you would say that Miami is your favorite market to
It
work
is
in?
my favorite market. I love that place. It's my favorite place. Well, you make more money there anyways, and it's such just a lovely place to be. I'm from the Caribbean. I love being by the beach, so yeah. Miami, Cape Town, there were two good markets. Spain was also a very good market. Barcelona, yeah, they were very good markets for me. And I did well in London as well. Germany was very good as well. So yeah. I did good. I did good because again, Greece was good for me too. But Greece was more the main issue in the modeling industry, if I have to be honest, it's not really even body shapes or anything. It's really just black girls getting work. That's a bigger issue than body, to be honest with you. But that's a whole other topic for another interview, I think. I think because
Okay.
that was a struggle. That was a struggle because your markets are just so limited. They really limited us, and my first time trying to get into Italy in Milan, it was like, you're too pretty for a black girl. You got that a lot. I
Hmm.
got a lot of, we would get that a lot. You're too pretty for a black girl. So we wouldn't get bookings because, yeah, for whatever reason, I'm brown. Not it's just it's a lot. The modeling industry, it's a weird one. It's interesting. You just have to find your place, make your money, do what you have to do, because there's a lot of money to be made in that industry. And I just found my safe spots and I just stayed there. I didn't venture out into the crazy world, to be honest with you. There are good spots
Okay.
and bad spots. I stayed in the good on
Yeah.
the good side.
Good. So I had one more question regarding the modeling industry. How do you feel about like social media? Um, do you feel like it's cheapened the glamour of the profession, like with Instagram models and OnlyFans pages and music video girls?
Music video girls were different because I mean, if you could, you would even say that now it's different because music videos aren't what they
Yeah.
used to be now. I
Right.
wanted to be a video vixen, shoots, and
Right.
Sean Paul and Wolf. I wanted to be a video vixen because because remember there was a time where they would only book models for that. If you think
Right.
Pharrell, Jay Z, all of this guys, they would just have models being booked all the time. So I mean, I only did one music video, but I went to a few castings, but I never got
Which one was
booked.
that?
Oh, it was for a French artist called Sly. We shot that in the Bahamas.
Okay.
It was really nice. A lot of work, but it was nice. It was lovely seeing myself on the screen as well. But I did a couple of castings in Miami, but I realized it's not something that I really wanted to do. It was just a fantasy. But yes, it has cheapened it, and the problem now is that a lot of our, let's say, clients would now look at your social media feed, for example, before they booked you, to see how many followers you have before they booked you, and it's like, come on, like I am not that busy on social media. I don't really care to post. I just want to focus on my work, and to really be posting on social media, and that's another job. You know, I have so much love and respect um for, let's say, what do you call them? Um what do you call them again? Uh
Influencers?
Influences. Yes.
That's it? Okay.
Influences. That's, yeah, that actually is the word, but it's just a word that I think that's not being used in its right context, but that's just me. Who are you influencing? But yes, let's say Instagram models. Let's call them Instagram models,
Right.
because they're advertising. All right, let's call them Instagram models because they're advertising. Because it's a lot of work, it's very hard. And when modeling is your job, it's totally different. And clients know that because when they've booked Instagram models to do the work, to try to replace, because, and I say try because at the end of the day, I've been on so many shoots where things have to be reshot because some Instagram model did not do it well because it's not the same thing. It's totally
Hmm.
different. Um, and a lot of clients have learned that. That is why models are still needed and we still work, thank God. But it has definitely changed the game. It has made it a lot more difficult. I would say when America's Next Top Model came out, that is when a lot of people wanted to get into the industry, but they didn't really understand because the show, it was great. It showed a lot of things that yes, we experience in the industry, but it wasn't of the full reality
Hmm.
of the industry and the job and the living situations and how things go. It was totally totally different. So when a lot of the girls would come and they'd be like, oh yeah, but that's not what they saw on TV, it's like, honey, you have no idea, it's just getting started. So social media has definitely made it a lot more difficult for us models because in our agency we'd be like, well, you need to post more, you need to do such and such more, and the pressures of that one post that needs to go on your feed, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot. There's a lot of pressure, and it's not easy, especially when you have pages that are curated and things like that. So yeah, it has made my job a lot more difficult, and I can say a lot for my some of my colleagues. Yes, we do have powwow sessions where we complain about that. Definitely.
Nice.
So yeah, sometimes we're like, influencers, huh? No. Instagram models, yes, we can call it that, but But I have learned that a lot of it is, there's definitely an Instagram versus reality sort of thing, and a lot of people need to understand not everything on social media you need to believe. So yeah.
Okay. Good point. I like that. So take us to Malaville. What inspired the line?
So I love dolls, and I love dolls. I I spend a lot of time alone, so for me, the dolls were like, it was a therapy. It was like therapy sessions when I played with my dolls, and I got to a point where I got obsessed with the collecting, and I would go into the stores and look and buy. And I just had this wonderful idea to just start this village, and I called it Malaville. So before I launched my company, Mollyville, I had already my doll collection, my dolly world was already called Malaville. And while collecting, it was like, okay, great. It would be nice to have more dolls with curly hair. So I'd buy the dolls with straight hair and curl the hair. And of course, doing a lot of research to figure out different types of curls and what to do. And then, hot water boiling, all of that stuff. It's like, dang. And then so when I started reading, I saw a lot of parents complaining about not having enough black dolls with um, the afros and the natural hair and the kinky hair. And you wouldn't think about it, but brown eyes. And I noticed, and I look at my dolls and I was like, oh yeah, they're green, purple, orange. It's all sorts of eye colors. And so when you're not a parent, you don't realize the things that are important in toys. So for me, I was just a collector. So when I started reading what parents were writing in comment sections and what they needed for their children, it was like, okay, well, since they're not really being heard, let me just see what can be done. And so I took a trip to China, had a few chats with a few manufacturers, and I found the one that she just had. Well, the rep, she just had like she brought the samples, and I just watched how she handled her samples, and I was like, okay, although they're more expensive, that's the one. And so yeah, so then I just I started the line, used their mold, started the line, and like just a couple of months after, well, quote unquote, launching, because it really was a passion project. I honestly didn't think much of it, and they just went viral a few times and started selling out like crazy. And all of a sudden I'm here trying to figure out what life is about, what life is. And then being called an entrepreneur, and I was like, oh my god, wait, yes, that's what I am now. So I literally had to learn business along the way, because I just took a chance. I literally just took a chance, because to me it was like, it didn't cost much to create a sample. So I played around with the sample first, tested the market. I'm learning. I also learned that I was doing a lot of things
Hmm.
without realizing what I was doing market research without realizing. So me going and asking parents questions about the dolls was, doing market research. I was like, oh my god, oh yeah, great, that's quite something. Um, so there was a lot of there was a so yeah so I did that, and then it's like, okay, great, I'm ready to place my order. And I placed my order and set up my Shopify and just went in. And I think one of the reasons they did really well, it's because I just love dolls. I loved dolls. I loved the ones that I created. I think they were beautiful. And I just felt that, young black girls needed beautiful dolls without makeup, without being over exaggerated, and just dolls that looked like looked like us, looked like
Right.
just have, but also the texture of the fiber was important for me, because I know how much I struggled and struggle still, with not allowing my hair to get straightened all the time and all of that stuff. Like, let me allow me to. It took me years. It took me 30 years to appreciate my natural hair.
Okay.
And And so it was tough. It was tough. And I just wanted to have a product that had that coarse hair. That when you feel it, you just feel like, wait, this also feels like mine, but it's beautiful. So if it looks beautiful on the doll, then I must look beautiful as well, you know. So um, that's what started off that's what started off Malaville, basically. But it really was more my love for dolls and wanting to give collectors something. But then I realized the importance of what I was doing.
Yeah. I think all young ladies create characters out of their dolls, and you
Yeah.
literally pulled it off.
Thank you. And that
So,
is why the dolls have backstories. So on the packaging, they all have backstories on the packaging. Um, because for me, it's like, and again, I did not realize it was a way for me to sell the dolls, because the dolls have favorite colors, they have hobbies, and that's just what I created when I had my own little world. And so for example, when I'm around and a child is buying the doll, I'll be like, okay, so what are you gonna name her? And sometimes they automatically have a name already that they want to give the dolls, and they're already creating the whole thing. So you have some children that are like that, and then they're like, no, but I love what she has, and I got her because she her favorite color is also my favorite color, So there was a lot of that as well. So yeah, so I did because I love playing with the dolls. So it was just the child in me coming out, and I guess I started speaking to a lot of children. The child in me started speaking to a lot of children out there. So yeah.
uh so walk us through the steps of designing each doll. There's 8 of them. That's part of Malaville. Um,
There's 8 that has launched. There's a lot. I have a few more, but yeah, 8 of them that I've launched so far. Wow.
I mean, we can
So
go one by one if you want to. So,
um
I mean, if you want to start with Alexa?
Alexa. Oh my God, Alexa, she's beautiful. You want me to show you Alexa? I hope you can
Sure.
see her well. That's not the outfit she comes in. I do still play dress up with my dolls. So we were
Uh-huh.
playing dress up. So Alexa has albinism, and
Hmm.
she's part of the second collection. And one of the reasons why I felt Alexa was necessary is because children with albinism, there wasn't really a doll in on the market with albinism. You had a few that were probably customized, but not one that was mass market. So she was actually the first on market. And so me designing Alexa, she took for my manufacturers to get her correctly. Even though they got her correct the first time, they just thought it was not what I wanted. I sent everything I needed, but they actually thought it was not what I wanted. And so they sent it first. I'm like, yeah, great. Then when the sample came, it was not correct, because then they darkened, because, of course, it's lack of pigmentation. So then they started darkening, certain areas like the eyelids, even the eyelashes and everything. And I'm like, no, we got to go back. That's not what I want. So to get her combination right, it's like okay. So I have different colors that I choose. So if Alexa was getting her skin tone correct, and like the lip and the eye, although oftentimes people with albinism, they have like freckles because of the sensitivity to the sun. But I didn't give Alexa freckles this time around. Maybe I'll come up with another doll from another mold. So I have 2 head molds. So I have dolls that smile and one with soft smiles. So Alexa from the second collection, she has a soft smile, and also the eye color. So she has green eyes. She looks like she's got dark eyes, but she actually has green eyes. And so it's just like, getting the eyebrows the same color as the hair, which is, you probably can't really see her properly. Um, but again, it's
Yeah, I
just,
can't see the eyebrows.
you can't, because she's blonde. Because it's blonde. And it's just to let people understand. But there's a lot more work that I'd like to do with Alexa, because on the continent, many countries in Africa, they still kill people with albinism. because yes, they think that they contain magical powers, and so you would often find them dismembered. So they would, like, cut of fingers, cut of hands. Yeah, it's a very sad situation. So there's a lot more work that I would love to do here with Alexa, and it's taking time because it's a very, very sensitive subject, actually. Here, so yeah. So Alexa was very necessary, but at the same time here, I just had to be very careful because witch doctors um, tend to, people, they get kidnapped, they get abandoned, they get husbands leave their wives if they have children with albinism. Parents sell their children with albinism to, it's a whole thing. So yeah, so Alexa is very, very, very special to Mollyville, and because for me it meant represent just having representation in the doll world. A doll with albinism was very necessary. And we can go to Lola. So I don't need.
Lola.
Yes, so Lola. I know. I don't know why,
She's
but
a flight attendant.
she is the flight attendant, and we do have a lot of people of color who have red hair and freckles. And
Mhm.
so Lola is one of them. And so again, she's gorgeous. I just think she's very beautiful. So I wanted to give, so usually they have, like, those beautiful white eyes and dark. So it's a lot of research that goes into this. And so because I'm using two head molds just to save cost, it is changing of the eye shape, eyelashes, twinkle in the eyes, and the lip color, freckles, no freckles. For me, although they're slight, but you can totally see the difference in all of the dolls just by making slight changes. And like I said, for now, it's really, I'm self-funded. So for now, everything just, I just have to it's just me figuring out the best way to keep my costs down and having all my girls look different. And I have managed to do a pretty good job with that. And usually you would find the redheads with freckles as well. So Lola does have beautiful freckles. She's a flight attendant. That's the first job I ever wanted to do. And I just want to have children. Of course, we are in, it's like, and I consider myself, I'm talking now, the child in me is also talking. It's like, it's having an active imagination. It's beautiful because, you travel, you travel past the stars, we travel through universes, and on this planet, I would love, because there's a lot more work that I'd love to do with Malaville, and a flight attendant was necessary to take that journey through the world to learn about different countries and things like that. So she has a very big role in the future of Malaville. And I'll go to Viv. I'll go to Viv. And Viv, oh, there she is. So she is the darkest doll that I have. And so Viv and Maisha, they're my dark dolls. And when I first launched, so Maisha was the first, is part of the first collection. She's got a bigger afro. So they're the same skin tone,
Hmm.
but she's got this Vava Voom dress that's covering her face. But she's got just this beautiful smile and, just beautiful brown eyes. Of course, you have the face is different. I wish it was daylight here so you can see them much better. But when I launched Maisha, someone made a comment to say, take her off the shelf. We don't have people that are that dark. That caused, that caused, like, a whole controversy where I responded and they went viral again because of my response. And then when I launched my second mold, I also wanted a nice, the same tone, because I just think that skin tone is so beautiful. At the time, to be honest, it was before the super dark skin tone was really appreciated, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because now you have, like, a lot of, especially the Sudanese models that are now, coming up and just killing things. Before, they weren't, people did not appreciate that skin tone, but we at Malaville, we did from day one. So yeah, so Maisha was, one of my favorites from the very, I mean, they're all my favorites. Oh my God, a mother cannot say that about her children. You're all my favorites.
So did the backlash stem from? Did it come from somebody of color
Yes,
that
of
felt?
course. Sad to say, yes. Sad to say, yes, it did come from somebody.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
So Viv is a
she's a
photographer, and
photographer. Yeah. Maisha is a
Maisha is a.
stylist. She's a stylist. Why a stylist? Oh my God. Because, okay, so the first four dolls, I was being a bit lazy and rushing everything. So I call them the four M's. It's Maisha, Mala, Malina, and Mina. So I call them the four M's, and um, they were all part of the creatives. So they were the creatives. So the fashion stylists, and see where the world is going to. It's like, you need stylists, because to me, not everyone, wants to be a doctor, nurse, and all of that, stuff. The creatives were needed to be, okay, let me get serious. Creatives needed to get representation in the doll world as well. And so when I wrote their backstories, I just wrote it based on what it is that I was experiencing at the time. So me as a model, that's what I was experiencing. So I made her stylist because somebody needs to style the dolls in Mollyville, So the way the first collection went, and this is where my idea it all came from. So Mala, she's actually not the model; she's the fashion designer. There she is. This is the Mala doll. Beautiful big afro
named
because I
after named
afro
after yours truly.
named after yours truly. I was very shy about that, but I'm like, it's okay. I'm gonna give myself a doll. Why not? And she's the fashion designer, and she and Maisha, they're best friends. So a fashion designer, so a stylist always goes to a fashion designer to be like, look, I've got a client that I need to dress. Okay, so that's how it works. So they're best friends, and she designs, but she loves cooking. Okay, she loves cooking, and it's crazy because after I wrote her story, I opened up a restaurant. So it was almost like I was manifesting things from my doll's stories. Um,
Uh huh.
so this is M number two, and then we have the model. There, a model does exist. Oh my God, she's not here. I knew I was missing someone. Oh no, she is here. Maish, okay, so this is me, Malina. So Malina actually is a baby name that a lot of people call me. So let's just say she is my alter ego. So she is the model. So
Okay.
she's the model. I know she's on a stand. Oh, I wish you could see those fab fashions that they're wearing because we did well.
I,
So she's the model. She's the one that travels the world. So guess who is one of her best friends? The flight attendant. And she needs free tickets, right?
right. You got to
She
have
needs
that
free
hookup.
yeah, they meet each other around the world whenever she's working. Lola's like, hey babes, are you in Milan? It's like, yeah, come through. There it is. So this is and then so she's called Mama Malina because a lot of people call me Mama Mala because I used to take care of a lot of the models in the model apartments. Because I was just the grown one here there around. So she's the one that everyone goes to, and she has a television show as well, or is it coming? I think we've already created the television show. Oops, I'm already giving out ideas. So because they come to her all the time for advice and everything, and she's experienced the world, and so she's now coming up with her television show. And then there's another best friend. There's Imani. So Imani is also part of the second collection. Imani, I think she is just gorgeous. She just got this very serious look about her. There's something in her hair. She's just got this very serious but regal. She's very regal. There's just something just so beautiful about her. And with Imani, she is a magazine editor. So um, we might have load shedding I hate to say this in the middle of an interview. We might have load shedding, so I'm not sure if we're going to get cut off in 10 minutes.
No, we'll finish in 10.
Okay. So yeah, it's sad that we are that but it does happen, especially because it's been very cold, so I guess a lot of people have been using electricity. So we have Imani, and Imani collects postcards. So of course she's best friends with the girls that travel. She has a bookshop because I love reading and I want to introduce children to books. And of course there are books that are coming in Malaville's future. So what I will do is now I'm going to try to package everything, and because I have a feeling I know what your next question will be. So Imani she writes for the Malaville Times and the Malaville Journal. So but she's the editor for the magazine. So what's next and in the future for Mollyville, the crayons and coloring books, and it's going to be like a magazine.
Cartoon?
Sorry?
A cartoon?
Cartoons, I hope I will be able to get someone that can that would love to collaborate. I am down for that. But we still have one more girl. We have Mina. Mina is the party planner, and parties are always welcomed. And that's because I also, for the future of Mollyville, I would love to have party supplies because that's very necessary with beautiful black characters. So I'm in the process of having all of the girls how do you call it, illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Their first set of illustrations have been done, and the coloring books are in the process of getting put together. The crayons I posted a while back, but I just needed to change a few colors. So the crayons will be, of course, with the girls' skin tone plus other skin tones, and your primary colors. So that's coming. But when I launch that, I would also love to launch it with a coloring book. And the coloring book will also have stories because we love a good story. And it's sad that still in this day that there aren't a lot of beautiful black characters that our kids can draw and color.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where Malaville, that's what's next for Malaville. So that's what I'm going to be doing next for the girls.
Okay. Any male dolls in the future?
Yes, there will be. I just need to find a good mold because for me to create a mold is going to cost me like minimum $20,000 that I do not have at the moment. Well, that I
Wow.
do not want to spend on a mold at the moment, exactly. So if I get a very good mold, then yes, I can make some samples again, use factory's mold, test the market, and if it works out, then I can create my own, which is what I did for the very first collection. I found the formula that finally worked for me, so I then went and paid and got my own done. So the male one, I haven't found a good mold yet, to be honest. The ones that they had did not look like our beautiful men of color, and I was not going to have some. It was not looking good. I did not like what I saw.
Right.
So, I also need to come and represent hard as well. When I do that, have our, beautiful young kings also have, because I just had a son. So I just had a son.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so he needs to. I need to do something for him. Need to do something that he can say, okay, this is me, and you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, congratulations. But speak on the parallels of how the modeling and toy industries both have sort of stereotyped what beauty looks like.
Oh God. Um, to be honest with you, I don't know who are the people that make that rule, and we just find ourselves following it. Which is why I just felt like I needed to break away and do my own thing. And I think we need to get to that point of saying, and that's what's happening in the modeling world. You see, companies are, so let's say we, the people, need to understand our power, understand how
Hmm.
powerful we are, and just say no. Because it was interesting because who are the ones that put the toys on the shelves? The buyers. What do the buyers know? you know, you have to think who are the ones creating. And sometimes you can create something, but if somebody says no, that's not what I want on the shelves, then it's not out there in the, you know, in the market for the people who want something different to get their hands on. So then you always find yourself either, okay, accepting what's being given to you. You understand? So that is really where we are.
Hmm.
So we just have to get to that point and be like, no, okay, no, we want plus size girls. We want more black models. We want, sorry, models of color. We want more minorities. We want, but not make it a trend and not make it like, you know, a tempo. And but once we get it, we give up on it. No. And that's what's been happening. We cry for certain things. We get crumbs and then we're happy with the crumbs. No. No. We can't just be happy with crumbs. Understand our power and be like, no, we want more dolls. So if people demand more of, and if they go at these stores to be like, we want to see more dolls of color on your shelves, you know, but we just let it slide. It's like, okay, they don't have it and they don't have it, we'll just buy what we got. We accept what it is that they give us. And that's what a lot of people did. And when I launched Malaville, another company, I will not name, went and launched something else. And because, of course, you know, they have more money, they have more everything, whatever, they have more of a lot of things, you know, they came. But then there was a media, when that happened, someone else came and was like, no, don't come with that now because Malaville, you know, came and this, you know. So I know we shook you know, we shook some people up. So then it even got to a point where when people would talk about Malaville dolls, comments and posts would get deleted.
Hmm.
If they would get deleted, so that means, you know, we're disrupting an industry, we're disrupting something. So you just have to keep at it. Like with me in the modeling world, I never stopped. I never, when they told me black girls don't work there, I went and I became that black girl that worked there. And I'll show you, I'll make that money there. And I did in a lot of places, in a lot of markets where they said you can't work there, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll show you. You don't tell me no. Even though I said earlier, yes, you find your market, but there were markets where I'm like, but I can see that I can. I'm not gonna go there, not work and cry. If I see that there's a little something I can do, then I'll go. I'll do it. And I'm like, look, no, I did it. Like when I went to Greece, they're like, how did you work? I'm like, I did amazing in Greece. I made tons of money in Greece. Most of the girls would be like, they never made money in Greece. I'm like, no, I made tons of money in Greece. So yeah, so that is why we're just coming to say like, look, and if it means what it is that I do, just gave somebody else hope that, look, I can create something and put it on market, and it will, you know, people will get that and see my product and love my product, put my product in a big store, great. If I can be the ones in the big store, also great for me. But you know, but I'm just doing my part, and my part is to have these dolls out there so that young young people, you know, not well, just for children of color to accept and love who they are, their skin color, their beautiful eyes, their kinky hair, and also, you know, children of other races to have other dolls of color that they can play, because playing is so important for a lot of children, and parents need to understand that it's very important. So oftentimes I meet black parents who be like, I'll never buy a white doll for my children. I'm like, no, you get them that as well. Get them both. Get them both. And then when they play in their play world, out there in the real world, that's how they interact. That's how they interact. And it's proven. I mean, this is not just me being in my la la land. It's, you know, it's their scientific proof, you know. So it's called play therapy for a reason. So yeah.
So as we prepare to close, Mala, tell us where we can find Malaville dolls, and then plug your social media and whatever else you have going on.
Sure. So www.malavilletoys.com. So the dolls are available online. We ship worldwide, and they're on Instagram at Malaville Dolls, and I am at Mala Bryan, Malabr YAN, and you can find the tags of the dolls there. And we are on Facebook. I'm old school, so we are on Facebook, Mollyville, Malaville by Mala Bryan. So I kept that old name and I haven't changed anything. And I'm just available in all social media as Mala Bryan. So hit us up, order some dolls, expand your doll, your doll collection.
Beautiful. And are the accessories sold separately as
I
well,
haven't.
or?
I don't have
Oh,
accessories as yet. I have accessories locally, so I am currently in Cape Town, South Africa. I had accessories done locally, but not yet for mass production. It's a logistics issue that I'm going through because I'm here. So I'm trying to find a way to have products based in the US, and once I do that, then I can just take over, and that is
okay.
coming soon.
All right. Well, Mala Bryan, thank you for taking me on a trip to Malaville today. And make sure you go to our website and meet the girls. There's 8 of them right now. Purchase a doll for yourself or for your kids. And for Stop, Look, and Listen, I'm your host, LaTroy Gardner. See you next week. Peace and blessings.